So I wanted to review again how to do the problems in Module 3 on Lesson 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So they're all basically the same thing. They look at the normal distribution, which is a bell-shaped curve here. Okay? And the way you do these, I don't want you, you can open these things up. I don't want you to do that. I think it's harder. And honestly, I think it's outdated. So what you should use is StatCrunch, all right? So click down here, open up StatCrunch. All right, so you got StatCrunch open. And use Stat Calculator Normal right there. Stat Calculator's Normal. And this is the tool you're going to use to answer all of these questions, okay? All right, so let's look at this. In this tool, there's 5 boxes. In the first part of the problem, you want to find out the first 2 boxes, and that has to be given in the problem, okay? So this one is, these 2 values determine everything about the normal distribution that you're going to look at. So let's look at question 7 here. It says, find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so we're going to look, we need to find the area of the shaded region, but we need to find these 2 boxes, the mean and standard deviation first. All right, so this says the graph depicts the standard normal distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 1. All right, so we're going to keep that 0 and 1 there, but anytime you see standard normal, that's going to be an indication that the mean is 0 and standard deviation is 1, even if it's not stated there. Or if you see a z on the graph, all right, if you see that z, that means that the standard deviation is 1, the mean is 0, and the standard deviation is 1, all right? So that's the first part of any of these problems. And then after that, you have 3 other boxes, all right, these 3 boxes. And one of them, this one or this one, is going to be given in the problem, and the other one is your answer. So you have to read the problem and decide what that's about, all right? In this problem, it says it's looking for the area, right? It's looking for the area here. And when it says it's looking for the area, that means the answer is going to be here, and you're going to type this number from the problem, all right? This last box can mean area, or it means percentage, or it means probability, all right? In this case, the problem is asking for the area, so you know that answer is going to be in here, and we need to fill in this box here. And so what is that box? It's the boundary of this red line. Like if I put in, let's say I put in a -1 here, -1, all right? That's the boundary of the red line here, of the red region. And so what's this? That's the area of the red region. So the boundary is in this box. Okay, the boundary is -1. And this box shows you the area of the red region. And this determines on what side of the boundary is the region. Okay, so this is less than, it's on the left side, greater than, it's on the right side. All right, so the area of the region to the right side is 0.84. It's 84% of the data is over here. But if I go this way, all right, the complement is 15% is over here. Okay, so that's how you do these problems. Let's look at this. It says find the area of the shaded region. The boundary in this problem is z is equal to 0.17, and the region is to the left. The shaded region is to the left, so I'm going to keep that to the left. I'm going to put in 0.17, and the area then is this 0.5675, all right? So that's, you would just copy and paste that in there and round to 4 decimal places. Just all these problems are going to be the same, like, all right? This one doesn't say the mean is 0, but it does say standard normal. Standard normal curve. That means the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. Okay, so when you see that word standard in there, that's an indication that you put a 0 and 1 in there. All right, and this one, the shaded region is between minus 1.5 and 1.7. All right, so again, it says find the area. That means the last box is going to have the answer, and I need to fill out these boxes. But since it's a between, I can click on that. I'll click on the between, and I'll put in minus 1.5 here, minus 1.5, and 1.7 here. Right, those are the boundaries. Those are the boundaries of the graph, and we'll compute. All right, so the shaded region is going to have 0.886. All right, let's see. 0.886. Okay, so that's the answer. Once again, this last box is the area of the shaded region, or it's the percentage of the data. It's another way to think about it. It's the percentage of the data in the region, the shaded region, in between these two boundaries. Okay, so let's look at module 3, a question in module 3 here. All right, now remember, the first thing we need to do is determine the mean and standard deviation. That has to be in the problem. In a recent study in World Happiness, participants were asked to evaluate their current lives on a scale from 0 to 10. 0 represents worst, 10 is the best. Responses were normally distributed, so that's our normal calculator, with a mean of 4.8 and standard deviation of 2.4. So that's the difference between lesson 2 and 3. These are not 0. This is going to be 4.8. The mean is not 0. The mean is 4.8, and the standard deviation is 2.4. Okay. All right. So that's the first step. What's the mean and standard deviation? Let's look at A here. Find the probability that a randomly selected student's participant was less than 4. Less than 4. So that means the shaded region is going to be on the left. So less than, right? This would be greater than 4, but this is, if it's less than, it's on the left of the boundary, and then I have to put that in there, left of, less than 4. Okay, so I put 4 here. All right. All right, so there's 4. Less than 4 is this red region here. All right, find the probability. This one says find the probability. The red region here also is the probability, right? So this, like I said before, this box here can mean area, it can mean percentage, or it can mean probability. Okay, so this 0.3694, all right, there's your answer there. This one's between 4 and 6. This is more than 8, all right? More than 8. How are you going to do that? That just means you're going to, the red region is on the right side. It's greater than 8. All right, so there's your answer there, okay? What's the probability? And this last part says, are any of these events unusual? And the way you know that is they have to be less than 0.05. So if you look at these answers, none of them are less than 0.05, so there are no unusual events. Right? So this last part, lesson 4, okay, it says, use the standard normal table to find the z-score that corresponds to the given percentile. Percentile, what does that mean? If you remember from Module 2, percentile is the amount of data, or the percentage of data that's to the left of your boundary. So that means you need to choose to the left, all right? And what's the boundary? It says, in this case, it's the percentile is the 7th percentile. That means that 7% of the data is to the left, okay, of your data point. Now this says, I skipped over the mean and standard deviation. We need to do that. It says z-score in standard normal table. So if it says z or standard normal, that means this is going to be a 0 and this is going to be a 1. All right? Oh, and it says the z-score that that has, I did this wrong. This means, the percentage means 7% of the data is to the left of the boundary. In this question, in Module 3, Lesson 4, it's actually looking for the boundary that gives you 7% of the data. So the 7 should not be there. It should be 0.07, right? 0.07. That means 7% of the data is to the left of what boundary? And that's what we're looking for here. So this is going to be minus 1.48, and that's what we have. I started that out wrong, but for Module 3, Lesson 4 actually gives you either the percentage, like in this case, it's 7%, or it gives you the area of that, right, which you also put in here, or it gives you the probability. Let's just look at another problem here. All right, so this one gives you the area. Let's do this one. Okay, it says the area to the left is 0.0735. So this is the box for the area. So you put 0.0735. 735. And that's the area. So I put it in the area box. Now what's the mean and standard deviation? It's going to be 0 because it says Z. I know it's 0 and 1. And it's the area to the left, as you can see here. All right, so we'll just compute, and here's our answer, minus 1.45. Okay, let's just pick one out here. All right, Z-score is 40% of the distribution is between minus Z and Z. Here we go. So since it says Z, mean is 0, standard deviation is 1. The between means it's between here. All right, and how much of the data? It says 40% of the data. So again, this is a percentage. We put 0.4 here and compute, and these are our values, our Z values, right? So 40% of the data is between a minus 0.52 and a plus 5.2. So 0.52. I think with that, you should be able to work through these problems rather quickly. Like I said, I don't want you to use these tables. Find out from the problem first what is the mean and standard deviation, and then look at the problem. Are they giving you an area and you have to find the boundary? Or are they giving you a boundary and you have to find the area? This determines, are you looking to the right of the boundary or to the left of the boundary?